Hey, brassfacts here. The year is 2020. I had just gone to SHOT Show, and aside from extreme liver destruction and second-degree lung cancer, something interesting I noticed was a new LPVO adorning all Geissele rifles. On the surface, it looked like a Razor HD knockoff, tannadized, 1:6x, second focal plane. Surely a winner. I picked it up, looked through it, put it down, and promptly forgot it existed for the next 3 years until it randomly showed up on a webpage 3 months ago, where I had the realization that, holy shit, I've never actually seen one of these scopes out in the wild. Now, I haven't seen a lot of LPVOs out in the wild, but this is a Geissele LPVO. This is the company that makes 400 different models of rails that were sold out for like 2 years straight, and still are. They make the URGI upper that is basically just a heavy-barreled upper with a heavy-ass rail that is kinda nice and, once again, almost perpetually sold out. They make a beast of an optic mount that weighs 7 ounces, doesn't have QD, and, say it with me, perpetually sold out. Holy shit, they even have a bayonet mount for 150 bucks. Thank you, sir, may I have another? For whatever reason, anything G-Money makes is incredibly sought after. For good reason sometimes. So when they came out with a scope, you'd think it would follow suit. What's up? Real quick, sponsorship section. This video is sponsored by Nightline Inc. I have an addiction, and that addiction is night vision, which for the record costs more than drugs. Nightline supports the channel and helps provide the night vision equipment and helps keep the channel going. They are a long-time night vision retailer, but recently want to expand into the civilian sector. When you go to Nightline to buy night vision, you get fair prices, and more importantly, you get to talk to a real person during the purchasing process to ensure you get exactly what you want and are expecting. Night vision tubes are unique, so too should your shopping experience. So next time you're interested in buying some night vision, considering opening up a tab at Nightline, and perhaps clicking the affiliate link down below, I do get kickbacks, you get 10% off, and Nightline gets a customer. Hey, pretty sweet deal. Okay, back to the Geissele scope. As mentioned, I've yet to actually ever see one, and in fact, when I tried to actually light literal money on fire for review on an optic that no one is ever going to buy, I actually had trouble finding one of these things. It seems, if I had to guess, there are only a couple remaining in inventory, and they're just sitting there. This thing hasn't probably been produced for some time. Opening the box, you're immediately greeted for God and country, and wait, is this a hunting scope? A bit odd at first, but this was somewhat in the modern sporting rifle era, and everyone was trying to be subtle about the fact that their rifle and scopes were actually primarily designed to shoot people in the face.
Dude, the scope is so bad.
The styling, weight, and all things seem to indicate, yep, this was probably meant to compete with the Razor HDE 1:6x. On paper, this seems like a winner. $1,000, sells for $800. That's about $300 to $500 less than the Razor HDE. Larger objective at 26 compared to 24. Generally more than most average LPVOs. Instead of a basic bitch reticle, we not only have mils, but ranging features. Weight is roughly right down the middle at 24.5 ounces, and of course, it's got the Geissele automatic name slapped onto the side. And it comes in tan, which, trust me, not insignificant. I guarantee you 50% of Razor HD or Glock 19X sales were because they were tan. Okay, so let's get into it. Why did this thing fail? Well, straight up, there were some unavoidable factors. When it was revealed, the Razor HD had already existed for quite some time, and the industry was shifting gears to more features, more better, with the 10X Razor HD Gen 3 released at that exact same SHOT Show. Now, in retrospect, the Razor Gen 3 10X turned out to be a giant piece of shit, and 10X on LPVOs generally are a horrible idea, but at the time, we didn't know that, and all we saw that this Geissele scope was incredibly out of date. Second focal plane, out of date. 6X max, weak sauce. No daylight bright setting, considered mandatory. $1,000 package, definitely premium. All these factors probably killed the scope at that time, regardless of how good or bad the LPVO ended up being. The bendy bill memes probably didn't help either. But in retrospect, this scope seems to be kind of good, no? Turns out the combination of features actually don't make any sense whatsoever and create a design that is somehow worth less than some of its parts. As mentioned, we have significantly improved reticle over the Razor HD, but due to how daylight bright illumination works, at this price point, you more or less need to use wired reticles. That means you can't have a freestanding part, so to speak, in the reticle design. So we had to give that up here. We get a slightly more complex reticle, but we don't have red dot bright illumination. The illumination is still distinctly in the, yeah, it's bright, but still well below the threshold as a usable red dot analog. Now personally, I don't mind this reticle much at all, and in the context of red dot bright illumination that has battery life measured in hours, not days, it's a respectable design choice. The market, however, did not agree in 2020. To set itself apart, it slapped on a 26mm objective lens, that is the thing on the end. On paper, this is great. You get more light, you get more usable max magnification, you get lower exit pupil, you name it. In practice, this doesn't really work because the main tube is still 24mm. The end result is that even though it's second focal plane, this LPVO has an atrocious 1x performance, probably one of the worst on the market.
That 1x also sucks. That's a little better. Dude, I'm having a lot of trouble at this specific range collimating the air. Also, this radio is up my fucking armpit. Yeah, at this range, something's up, but feels like using like one of those Leopolds, like a 1.5 or even a 2x scope. It doesn't feel like a 1x at all.
Even when compared to scopes in the $200 price bracket like the SIG MSR. It is both not really a true 1x and also kind of warpy. You can see why larger objectives over tube size matter for 1x LPVO performance and why basically everything is 24mm straight. This 1x was roughly on par with first focal plane budget scopes. The benefits gained don't even manifest. Sure, the scope caps out at 6x, absolutely not a downside and actually my preferred magnification. But when was the last time when someone looked through a 6x LPVO and complained about exit pupil or light gathering, or whatever, on a 6x second focal plane LPVO? No one except people on Reddit. And, well, that's really it. It's not a bad scope, it's just not a good scope. Which actually does probably mean it's a bad scope. It just gets crushed by the competition at 1/3 the price. It's not light, it's not cheap, it doesn't have any standout features except the word Geissele stamped on the side. The glass is good, great even, but for $1,000 it's par for the course. And the fact that the 1x just completely blows, just kills any hope of this scope being really a recommendation for any scenario. Alright, who wants to buy it? Alright, anyway, thanks for watching. And also thanks for Nightline for sponsoring this video. Remember, link down below in the description, you can get a Geissele Super Duty 1-6x worth of cost off of your night vision equipment. It's 10% off. So if you want to directly support me, you can consider hitting up my Subscribe Star. It's how you transfer money from your bank account to mine monthly. It's like a Netflix subscription, but instead of a massive library of videos and series, you get access to a podcast. And the feel goods of being my sugar daddy. Okay, that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Interesting thing about this dog is she doesn't miss humans at all. She hates humans.